Okay, and we are back, and as you can tell, I've done a lot of the cutting into with all the external components that you see on the outside, almost mostly installed. Um, Basically, I've put one of the two USB ports that I use. I was going to show you how I actually did this by using the other one as an example, so I haven't gotten to that yet. And I've also drilled a hole. Basically, this is depending off of the size of the power cable that you use to run it. So I can't really say which one to use when you decide to do this, if you want to. But I usually put it over in the little corner off the side, and what I'll eventually do is put some screws through these loops, and you will see later on that when this cable gets pulled out, these will keep the cable from completely getting yanked out, and it's kind of like a precaution to keep the power cable from breaking or uh, ruining whatever's inside here. And I've also put in the switch that I use. You can use one that has um, two different, I guess what they would call um, points of rest, or how the switch works. Like, for example, uh, if it was a flip switch, one side would be to open the circuit, which would make the device be off, and then if you switch it the other way, it closes the circuit. Um, this one I use actually has the ability to have a open circuit and a closed circuit on both at rest and also when you push in the button. But I only use one side for this particular project, uh, so that um, I actually can control the fan being turned on and off, because I don't consider turning on and off the USB ports any personal reason to why to do it on this project. So it just does the fan itself. I'll also be putting in this speed control for the fan also too as well coming up. So let's go ahead and start with the how to drill a hole in this case. Usually the USB port looks like this when you get it, and I just take this locking nut off and line it up towards the back like the other one, and I will drill 4 holes opposite direction of each other, and then I'll use the Dremel to cut open the hole bigger, and then I will switch bits on the Dremel to widen the hole so that it'll fit in the USB port. Um, you're not going to really hear me that much because of noise considerations. I'm going to be muting it. So for the time being, let me go ahead and put some sound in the background. And And sorry about that. Basically, I accidentally forgot to mute the mic, so it must have been extremely loud. So now the next thing to do is try to fit it in. Of course, obviously, it's not going to fit too well right now, so I might have to trim off a little bit more off the side to make it more rounder. Okay, so we got the USB port to actually fit flush with the top of the case. And now what it is we'll use our nut that actually comes with it that I use to measure the hole. We're going to go ahead and put this in all the way, unscrew this down. A little trick I learned. Oops. Runaway washer. About this particular installation of these ports is if you want to make them face a certain direction, you're going to first put the washer down as much as you can, then you're going to turn around and twist this part till it sits flush with the top of the case. My apologies if my avatar is blocking me, or blocking it. And luckily, it looks like this one I was spot on, but if that doesn't work for you, you can always back it off, unscrew it to the point where this gets loose, and then just rotate it one little notch, like the little nut part right there. Just rotate it one notch, one direction, and see how the top sits. If it's worse off from the direction that you want it to go, then back off again, get to this nut, and then go the other direction 2 notches and see if that actually will improve your situation with it. But other than that, that's how you actually drill the holes in the case that I use. So now we'll be putting in the speed control. Okay, and the speed control that I use for the fan is this module unit right here. What I'm going to be doing is going in and cutting this little chunk out of the circuit board. It does not actually have any effect on the fan whatsoever. It's actually a external RPM or a external readout that you can have on this particular device to show status of it. Since we aren't showing any of that on the outside of the case, it's not a big problem. And what it does also is allow me to move the circuit board over a little bit more for more space. So I go ahead and trim that. Okay, and after you adjusted the hole to actually accept the knob to go through it, sometimes you may have to actually trim a little bit more to the side than you want to. This particular one, I had to move it over just a little bit because my guess was wrong. So yeah, it's a little bit off, but not too much. And the switch itself is not affected at all. Anyways, and with also the washer and the nut tightened down on it, it covers where the mistake was made. So there you go. But yeah, should work fine. Put the knob back on. Okay, so that's all set. Okay, and the next thing you would want to do is put one screw through the speed control foot fan, just so that you have a little bit of more secure firmness on it to the case. And then for a little special feature or a little special thing I do, I will tend to use flatheads on the back and chew in enough into the plastic that it actually sits flat on it. And I also use a drill bit that's slightly smaller than the screw, so that the screw itself will have somewhat of grip when it goes into the case. And sometimes screws that you use for this, because it's not any in particular to use. I keep on using the same ones, but apparently the holes don't always are the same. And after I've shown the nut and the screw, the bolt who's boss, I'll easily get it in. Alright. So next thing we're going to work on is getting the positive and negative connected into the case here. And it's basically the same thing, use the same screws. And what it is I've put holes through all those mounts. I'll be putting, sorry. I'm in the way again. Don't mean to. But anyways, I put drill holes into each of those mounts on the case because I'll be putting bolts which will become more like rods to slip the circular crimp heat shrink ends through each through their loops into them, and this will make it also easier for me to disassemble it in case there's any kind of reason that the fan has an issue. So let me go ahead and do that. So once you have it done, you'll have screws to the bottom, and let me move myself a little bit. Okay. So you'll have your screws going through the bottom, and like that special trick of putting a little bit of a bigger drill bit through the top of it. Don't go all the way through. I repeat, don't go through all the way through. You'll have them somewhat deep into the plastic, and then later on I'll show you with some hot glue how you can cover them so that they don't translate the electricity. You put like some hot glue on them to actually keep them from getting in contact with anything on the outside. But on the other hand too, this is going to be resting on top of a fan or on the side of it, so it's not going to really go deep into it or anything going to be touching it too much. And as you can see, I've angled the connections back upon themselves, making it look like an arrow, with black being negative with its little terminal and red for its little terminal. And so if the cable gets yanked, it's not going to go anywhere. So the next thing to do is we gotta get our fuse line, which everything will be connected to, and that's why this solo post right here is by itself. It's going to be the termination point for the end of the fuse line. So you would drill a hole through here first. Feed as much as the cable you can through till it gets flush to the box. And then you have it back here. And then what you'll end up doing is drilling a hole to fit the next cable through, and then it just bends off and goes to there. Okay, so I got that one finally connected in. So just reminding you where we're at. Cable comes in with positive. I put it to this terminal here. Then I run the line to the fuse box, out from the fuse box to this line. And now I'm going to be hooking everything up from this one right here. And so first off, I'm going to start with top. Okay, so let's go ahead and start some soldering. Okay, when I'm actually usually would have to solder two wires in. What I will tend to do is make a loop to where I'm going to have to solder. And then from there, I just pull the shielding away, twist. Clamps work wonders, but yeah, just clamp it right there. Solder. Yeah. Of course, don't forget the heat shrink. And if it's ever a problem, always use a pair of pliers. The heat's too much for you. And if your project goes around too much, clamp it down. Okay. And see, as you can tell, I never cut the bar at all, and now I have it soldered completely to it. And so there's the red side. And I'm going to go ahead and start on the black or negative side. Okay, so we got the top part of the box taken care of, and you can do it either way. I'll be honest with you, I can tell already that I have done it backwards, but as long as I've actually connected the negative terminals and the positive ones together, and they're plugged in, soldered correctly, it should be fine. Just means I'll have more slack of cable inside the box. And if you're curious to what I'm talking about, as you can tell when I'm trying to put them in, the negative is going to be crossing back over here, while the red's going over here. But not a big deal. Usually I would probably prefer trying to end the red one on this side so it's closer to this, and then the black one ending by the terminal right here. So, not a big concern. Okay, so the fun part now is the switch. Alright, now it comes to the switch, which, like I said, depending on which one you use, follow what they tell you on how to do the switch. Usually comes in with the particular one that you have. Like I said before, mine is a switch that has both an open and a closed position on both directions. It's being pushed, so you can have it having one circuit closed while it's still up, and another one closed, and then just when you press it, it'll switch the position of the two circuits by making the one that was closed open and the open one closed. And this one also has a feature of having the ability to have its exterior side of it illuminated by an LED. So there's also a set of wires for it to illuminate that LED depending on what position, if you wanted it to, or you can have it currently always on. It depends on how you want to do it. I usually keep it current constant, because if I'm looking at it and I want to make sure that it hasn't gone become unplugged, I can look straight at it and it'll actually indicate it and tell me.